morning, welcome back to the channel. Guess what day it is? It is time to pick garlic. If you're new to the channel, I planted 600 garlic last year in the fall, and we are now mid-July and it is time to harvest the garlic. So I pulled a test one the other day and it looked absolutely perfect, which means it is now time to pull the rest of them. My intent was to pull it the other day, but unfortunately the day got away from me and I didn't have time. So that is why I'm doing it today. I'm probably about 5 days late, but I'm hoping for the best. As you can see, this area is completely overgrown with weeds. So once I pull all this out, what I'm gonna do is pull up all the straw that's still in there. Then I'm gonna till the whole bed up, add some dirt, and I'm gonna use this space to plant a late crop of lettuce, carrots, beans, and peas. But we'll get to that later. For now, it's time to start pulling the garlic and see what we've got. As you can see, the leaves are all brown on top and they're looking like they're dead. And that is another indication that it is time to pull the garlic. So the reason I pulled a test one the other day is because the tops of my leaves were brown and dead. So I pulled a test one and it turned out to be perfect. So now is the time to pull everything. Okay, so it's not going well. That is really in the ground. The garlic snapped off. And now I'm gonna have to get a shovel and dig that out. That is stuck in there. That is not good. This is huge. It's so big and it smells so good. As you can see here, like these cloves are huge. So I broke this one, but that's okay. I'm gonna clean it off and I'll just put it in the fridge and use it right away. But oh my gosh, they smell so good. Look at that. It's massive. This is why they're snapping off in the ground. Look at the roots on that. Off to a good start. These are so big, I have to dig up every single one with a shovel. Last year, I just pulled them right out of the dirt and they came right out. But they definitely were not this big last year. I wish you could see how big this is. For size, it's the size of my palm. It's so exciting. This is what I've got so far. Here's just a little one. This is making me so happy. I don't know why I'm so surprised with everyone I'm pulling out, because all the stalks are the same, roughly the same diameter and the same height. But seriously, every time I pull one out, I'm just shocked at how big it is, even though I should expect that based on the other ones. Look at that. These last few I've pulled out of here have come right out of the ground without the shovel. But now, probably because I said that, this one won't come out, but I'm gonna give it a try anyway. Oh my God, this is the biggest one yet. That is crazy. And now I see all the honeybees in there sniffing the garlic for some reason. big this is.
That's like the biggest one.
So far I've broken 6 of them, but I'm not worried about it. Like I said, I'm gonna clean these off and I'm gonna put them inside, but I also think what I'm gonna do with the ones that are broken is clean them off and then mince them up and put them in olive oil and keep it in the fridge. That way we always have minced garlic on hand and I don't have to crush garlic every time I need it. So this is gonna get used. I also want to try fermenting garlic in honey. Since I have bees, I have my own raw unpasteurized honey and of course the garlic that I grew. So I really want to try fermenting garlic in honey. The other thing that I want to try, one of my coworkers brought up, was black garlic. I'm not too familiar with black garlic, but it's definitely something I'm going to look into. So for now, I've broken 6, but that is okay because they're going to get used. I'm on to row 3 and everything is looking great so far. I've broken a few, like I said, but for the most part, everything is looking amazing. They're a really good shape. I'm really happy with the size of them. I'm over halfway done, thankfully, because this is actually quite difficult. I think it's because the ground is so dry right now that they're just stuck right in there. Not to mention the head of garlic itself is huge. So with the dry ground and the big head of garlic, it's just stuck right in the dirt, which is making it a little bit time consuming, but that's okay. I'm over halfway done. There were 10 rows in here and I have finished 5.5. So I'm over halfway, which is great. The ones in the center are actually coming out quite a lot easier. I think the middle of the dirt here is a little bit more damp than the outside and the ends. So the ones in the middle, I'm not really having to use a shovel for. I can just kind of pull them out by hand if I pull hard. But around the perimeter on the ends and stuff, it's just so dry. I have to use the shovel, and using the shovel just takes a little bit longer. But I better keep working away because I got a little bit left to do. I want to put them all out, lay them out flat, let them dry a little bit tonight, and then tomorrow I'll hang them up. That's it. I'm officially done harvesting the garlic. 600 garlic. My back is killing me. So many of these were hard to pull out. The ground is dry. The bulb is huge. The roots are big. And the weeds are out of control. This is something that I will never let happen again. This was a major part of the problem as to why it was so hard to pull everything out. I don't know what happened in here. I put straw down, everything got out of control. And the next thing I knew, it was too late. So I left it and they got out of control, which made it very difficult to pull the garlic. But that's okay. Next year, we're gonna change that up and that's not gonna happen. This is the biggest garlic I got. It is massive. It's basically the size of the palm of my hand. This is the smallest one I got. I don't know what this is about. I think I just must have dropped one on the ground or something. I don't know what this is about, but look at the difference. But this is basically the average size. This is massive, but this is a really good size, and that's the average size of almost all the garlic I pulled out. So we've got a variety of sizes, but most are like this. Now that the garlic is all pulled out, tomorrow I'm gonna leave the garlic and let it lay out. It's not supposed to rain tonight. It's already starting to dry, even just having pulled it out. It took me about an hour and a half to pull this all out, almost 2 hours or so. So some of it's been drying for almost 2 hours. I'm gonna leave this overnight. Tomorrow I'll hang it all up and then I'm gonna let it cure for a few weeks. Once it's cured, I will trim the stem back to about there. And then I'm gonna keep it in a cool, dark, dry place for the winter. Of course, I do not need 600 heads of garlic for my own self. Some of this I'm gonna save to replant. It will be on the website as well as at the end of the driveway at my house. So if you're local, you can swing by there. And if you're not local, you will be able to order this online. For now, I'm gonna tidy up this giant mess and I will see you back here tomorrow to hang up the garlic to cure. My garlic has been laying out all night, so I spread it flat last night before I went to bed. I left it all on the ground, a little bit in the wheelbarrow, and it's already starting to cure. So it's way more dry than it was yesterday when I pulled it out. Yesterday when I pulled it, it was super wet, and it is on its way to curing for winter now. But laying it down on the ground to cure is not gonna work. I need to have it off the ground, and I need to be able to get the airflow all the way around it so it can cure properly. So behind me, you can see this, whatever this thing is, I don't know. It was on the property when I moved in here. It's kind of like a lean-to type thing. I know there used to be a tractor parked in here. I pulled a cedar out of here and the dates written on the cedar were from 1901. So that's pretty cool. So this has been here likely since then. For me, I just use it to store the kids' snowmobiles, dirt bikes, quads, that kind of stuff. I've got the snowblower in here, the lawnmower, just a bunch of random things. But the best part about this place is you can see the logs and the beams inside. There's plenty of space to go around, and that's where I'm going to be hanging my garlic. So I'm going to tie them into bundles and I'm going to suspend them from the ceiling and the rafters of this lean-to thing, and that is where I'm going to leave my garlic to cure. It is important that the garlic stays dry, which is why I'm putting it in here and not just hanging it outside. I need to keep the weather off of it, and I need it to get some airflow to dry and cure all the way around so it lasts me through winter. Now that I've run you through what I'm about to do, it's time to get started. So I've got 15 heads of garlic here. They're nice and loose. You can see the dirt's already started to dry. And I'm gonna tie them like this, and I'm just gonna hang them upside down. That's it. I'm just gonna hang that up. Here we go. So I'll make the rest of the bundles and I'll hang them along here. And then there's another one over here, which I don't think you can see. And this is just where I'm gonna dry my garlic until it's ready. I'm on to the last bundle of the wheelbarrow. And this last bundle has 20 in it. So the other bundles that I have hanging up have 15 in it. I've got 6 bundles of 15 in there and this bundle of 20. I should also note too, there's more than one way to cure your garlic. This is what works for me, but it's not necessarily the right way. It's the right way for me because this is just what works, but there's other ways to do it. As long as your garlic is off the ground and it's able to get airflow evenly all the way around, it'll cure. I'm gonna hang this one down lower so that they're not all touching and everything can get a good airflow. There we go. Wheelbarrow number 2. There is definitely more in here than the first one. And these are some nice looking heads of garlic. Look at these. They're amazing. The cloves are huge. Really looking forward to these curing and being able to use them in the winter. So basically all I'm doing is I'm taking a piece of string, I'm tying it around my cluster of 15, and then once that's tight, I'm adding a second string onto it just to hang it up. Okay, working away. I've got just under 300 hanging. I've got to go back down and grab another load. I think I have roughly around 50 or so that broke off, or when I tried to pull them out, kind of like piece of the root came with it, piece of the root did not come with it. The top snapped off, or a clove broke off, or when I was digging it with the shovel, I kind of hit one of the cloves. So there's probably about 50 or so that I'm going to have to bring inside and do something with right away. 50 probably sounds like a lot, but when I'm talking 600 in total, 50 is not that many. It actually doesn't look like very many. It's really just a handful and that's it. But I have plans for those, like I mentioned yesterday, so it doesn't even matter because regardless, I was going to be taking some inside, dicing them up, mincing them up, putting them in olive oil and doing all that anyways. So it doesn't even matter. This is actually just saving me a step because I'm not going to hang them outside and cure them now. That being said, I am halfway through. I gotta go down, grab the rest of it. I'm hoping to be able to get it all up here in 2 more loads, and then once it's up there, it is time to start taking that space that the garlic was in and turning it into something else, because it is only July and there is many, many weeks of growing time still, and I don't want to waste that big garden and just have it go to weeds. So I need to hurry up and get the rest of this hung up so I can go down there, take the lawnmower, mow the weeds down, and then I'm gonna finally use up that cardboard that I keep telling you I'm gonna use up. You can see here that I forgot to pull 2 garlic scapes off. So this is where the garlic scape grows out. And this is what happens to it if you don't pull it off. So when I pulled it off in my previous video, it was about, I would say this long, it had curled, and I cut off a piece about that big. And that's what I use to eat, to process, to do all kinds of stuff with. This you cannot eat now. It's super hard. It would be very bitter and woody. But this is what happens if you don't harvest the scape. So what happens is it grows up and then it flowers on the end. The thing is it takes energy to grow this and flower this ball on the end, which means less energy going into the bulb. So you can see how small this bulb is. So a lot of its energy went to growing this weird thing on the top instead of growing a bigger bulb on the bottom. But that's okay, because I will use every clove I have. Doesn't matter if it's big or small. These are just not ones that I would plant again because they are so small and they just won't yield a big head of garlic from planting a small clove. So I'll just keep that and I'll do something with it inside. It's the same for this one. Look how tiny that is. Teeny. That's the rest of the garlic here though. So it's time to get that brought up and hang it up. Before I head up there though, I want to show you this little pile. This is all the cloves that I broke or snapped or hit with the shovel or that I pulled out of the ground and they ripped off. So these are all the ones that I'll be taking inside. Oh, that one's actually a good one. Must have put it in there by accident. But here, you can see I ripped the bottom off this, so there's no roots on it, which means the bottom is exposed, and that'll just start to rot if it doesn't get used. So these are the ones that are going in the house. And while I have one open, look at the size of the cloves. So for reference, there's my thumb. The final load. can't wait to have this all hung up and get going on planting some more stuff. I really want to utilize every single day of growing time in the season. So I really want to get this hung up so I can carry on with the rest of my day. This is just regular string. It's nothing fancy. It's not a special garlic hanging string. It's literally just regular string. I was looking for twine, but I didn't have twine, and I found this in my craft bin, so that's what I'm using. So I'm going to be doing 20 in each of these bundles. These ones are a little bit smaller. As you can see, the head is significantly smaller than the first 2 batches that I brought up here. The reason is this is the last of the stuff that I harvested, which means I planted it in the furthest corner from where I started, obviously. And where I planted and where I finished planting ended up being a spot that held water, which I was not aware of before I planted it, obviously. This is my first season here, so I didn't really know what to expect. But basically, the back part of where I planted my garlic kind of got really wet, held the water, and I feel like it had something to do with the fact that these bulbs are all small, because the stuff that's planted over at the beginning, I showed you the cloves were massive. So in comparison to my hand here, this is pretty small, where the other ones were the size of my palm. But that's okay, because these are still going to be great anyway, and I'm still looking forward to them no matter what size they are. But because they're a little bit smaller, I'm going to do 20 in a bundle instead of 15. That's it. That is the last bundle, and there's about 30 in there. I didn't want to split it up into 2 small ones, so I kind of crammed it into 1 big one, which is why the string kept breaking. But this is it. I can't believe it's already done. I just hung up the last bundle here, which is crazy because there are 500 garlic hanging here, which is nuts. Nuts. Last year I finished with 85. I planted 85, I finished with 85. This is crazy. There's 500 garlic hanging here. Absolutely wild. I have about 50, 55, 60-ish. I found a few more broken ones when I was picking through these. So I have another 60 or so down there, which makes it pretty much even because I technically planted 585 if I'm being specific, not an even full 600. So 585, I've got 500 here, I've got about 60 down there, which leaves 25 unaccounted for, and I'm ballparking 500 here because some of them are super small. If you can see these ones here. So I didn't count this as one. I put 2 or 3 of them in one pile and counted that as one. So I mean, realistically, there are probably 585 hanging here. All I have to do now is go grab the ones that are broken, and I'm going to bring those inside, but I will deal with those another day, not today, maybe tomorrow. And then I'm going to bring the lawnmower down and mow down the area and start fixing it up to plant the next round of stuff. So these are all the ones that are broken. So I'm just going to bring those up to the house. I'll clean them off and then I'll process them inside probably tomorrow. I even saved the cloves that fell out because I really will not waste anything. Now that all my garlic is hung up and I brought in the rest of the garlic that needs to be processed inside, you can see behind me the gigantic mess of weeds. I'm going to bring the lawnmower down, mow this down, rake it out. And that gigantic pile of cardboard that I keep telling you I'm gonna do something with, I'm glad I didn't, because what I'm gonna do is mow this down, rake it out. I'm gonna put the cardboard on top of it, and then I'm gonna take the 2 yards of dirt that I have over here, throw it on top, and I have a brand new bed, and I'm gonna start all over again. finally done. That was ridiculous. The weeds and the grass were so long. It was just, I should never have let this happen. So it's my own fault that it's like this and it's so difficult to cut. Underneath some of the grass and the straw, the dirt is looking nice. The only thing is because the grass and the weeds were so thick, I would almost need to sod cut this whole area again. Well, not all of it, but definitely parts of it. So that's why I'm gonna go ahead and put the cardboard on here and then put the soil on top. The cardboard is going to create a barrier and it's gonna kill the grass and the weeds, and then the dirt is on top and that's gonna break down the cardboard, therefore making a nice little area for everything to grow again. The things that I'm planting here, like beans, peas, and lettuce, they do not have deep roots, so they're gonna be fine growing in a few inches of dirt. Carrots that I'm gonna replant them over in the other garden. I'm pulling out some of my lettuce that bolted, so there's a nice little patch there to plant some more carrots. Other than that, I'm gonna take a break here. We're gonna go in and have dinner, and then I'm gonna come back out and lay down this cardboard. I finally laid down the last piece of cardboard and this area is officially done for now. All the garlic is harvested, all of the garlic is hung up. The garlic that I need to do something with is inside and I will be processing that in the next day or two. This area is now ready for soil and compost, which is not something I'm gonna start today because it is getting late. As you can see, the sun's going down. So this is good for now. I'm gonna leave this, I think, for a day or two. It's supposed to rain, so I want the cardboard to kind of get soaked down and flatten out a bit on the ground. Once it's all soaked down and flattened out, I'll put the topsoil on, I'll add a load of compost, and that area will be ready for something new. That's it for this video though. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next video from me. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram @_livingdifferent so you can stay up to date on what I'm doing every day. That's it for today. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.